Going through time is understanding how to sequence location and position of directions. You have to really recognize what's going on through your calculations. Time sequence locations is all levels of high setting. You have to recognize our correlation system. Today in glass, we're going to go lines of timelines into one sector. This is one connections of sailing into one position of one spectrum of one cycle. The center calculation line connection is going to come into all formation line settings. You're going to go track interference. Set lines in species line and set locations into all levels. Okay, so this is a high set line locations to an internet line be 24,000 light signature line connections. Path, position, location, and track lines. Spinning in position, location, operation line setting. It's taking all your timelines into one line position locations and putting all 12, 24, 48, 72, and 144 clocking system, a zero gravity, and 9-line setting. The recognition line connection high system is all levels of vector over. It's all levels of travel locations to the mind. Once the travels to the mind comes into correlation system, the transaction line connection comes into minds of travel to location to a system. Okay? You're not traveling through the mind. You're going through the mind of travel. So in that direct line setting, in position of the track lines, the calculation, see the solar line, setting the signal line communication setting, getting ready to teleport, telewave, telecommunicate, how to get in, to understand the course line setting, to really recognize the correlation of flow in calculations of yin and yang. The process of calculation is its transit line connections to a teleportation stream that opens all correlation setting in direct location interference. Now, the high communication system gets you a better understanding how to use it through all plateau. The triangle communication line setting is recognizing all correlation system to all calculations of pyramids into one position of one track setting. Locations of pi is a recognition locations over power of pi. It's an interception line condition, interface line condition, high position. Now, getting into that correlation system, the faster you go through the mind line setting, the faster you go through the voice grid locations. Interline communication line inference high position program, right? 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 So you have to finish the stream interference. Security, perimeters, parameter line calculation system, off position location interaction. Right? So getting in position location is short circuiting your lines of emotional track in a psychological indifference location to its different line setting that opens all angles and port location to a setting to a data streamline interference and electrical line connection that positions your program locations to its avatar set location. Okay, so you really have to understand this state, right? Because remember, you're all connected to each other. So once you get into that position line direct locations, you focus more on levels of yourself, and then you start to understand how to get in calculations, calculus over pi, recognition of timelines, recognition of time centers, recognition of line communication of space line communication of pi, high center line communication line and position location track line interference. Understanding what I'm saying is to be understood. To be understood is to understand. So getting in that communication system is really understanding how to get into the flow of the inner line connections. The more you go higher, the more you go deeper inside, deeper, deeper, which is faster, faster than you could say I, faster than you could say anything through travel locations, right? So traveling is a set line of communication off system because now you're going through the mind of travel. Setting position location of track lines is putting you guys into 13% of phenomenal line setting. Now that's extremely powerful. Coming all communications from a species line to a spectrum communication of species line position into correlation system into 1% spiritual connection. But now, switched. Spiritual connections. You're not just going through a spiritual experience anymore. You're going through a phenomenal setting and track locations. Spacing line and correlation system. The ones in line connection high system of all calculation, that is in notification line connections, NPC line setting, is in high correlation system at 3% setting. Now, the recognition line times and communication interference location allocate high setting is all communication to its position location, high setting interference. Clocking lines opens all communication to its program location settings. The recognition, balance, balance, balance. It's weird, right? This is balance. But is this balance? No. This is off balance. What's off balance? What's off balance? This one. No, this one. See? Now they're straight. See? One was like that. That's off balance. Okay, wait a minute. So 1 plus 1 equals 1. 1 plus 1 equals 3. They recognize the communications. This is balance. This is off balance. Balance. See? It's got to be straight. Simplified calculation line setting. Even the slightest line connection high system has to be in direct location, center operation location. Detail is balanced position location track lines in set location. Okay. All right. Yeah, seeing data, Vega, yeah, set locations. That's good. B class. Usually get communication line interference. So in that position location interaction, you're all here, but you're not here, but you're all here at once. There's only one viewer, but you're all here. Explain that, bull. All right. So setting position of direction is really recognizing timeline sequence. So this is how we set locations. Setting direct signals. Okay, it's really interesting locations. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? So we had a clock line setting, clock line setting, clock line setting, clock line setting, locations. Right? 4 clock line settings, 12 line setting, you get in 24 to 48, you get in 72 line in position. 144 sets line connections high setting in high position of all calculations box into triangle set locations into 2 into vector equal locations of pi in set location setting. So this location is 1, 2, 3, 4 into 5 line connections. Recognition line connection. To understand that position of traction, you have to understand where you are in position of your mind of space anomaly. All right, so setting correlation system, we have a 72 line setting. Now that's line position of 1 box line setting into 1 tether and 1 correlation system in direct line setting. Now the recognition line interference comes into line position location into 9. Formation location of 9. It comes into formation locations of 8. That's 8 over 9 and 9 over 8. 8 over 9, okay, equals location 9 in connection line centers over in position 8 in set location setting into calculations into box in 1 set line connections into 0 gravity in set locations high setting. Done by equation. All right. So the clocking line settings are set up locations. So we're taking the 12 line track, we're taking the 24 line setting, we're taking the 48 line communication the window into the 72 computer line rotation into 144 high setting line position of DNA track location at 12 DNA into rotation cycles and high center of generation streamlines and position locations to its calculation high setting indirect location system. Correlation system, correlation system, correlation system, and 3 track locations. All right, so ground line setting into 1, 2, 3, 4, cross signals into 2. So that's 4 lines equal locations of 2, equal locations of pi. Setting position location track lines. Okay. So getting into that signal in high setting line position attraction is really recognizing communication of time setting. This opens all position locations. So you got 4 line settings. Now, getting you in position line settings, this is 4 lines of communications into 1 line. So that's plus over, okay, plus over triangle set lines into 6, 7, and 8. And 9 sets line communications over cross lines, 12 line positions, XD 1000 line setting in line communications into 1 console calculation, 1 setting, into reverberation channels in a course line setting in a recognition of 0 line rotations into scan line setting rotation. Done by equation. All right, setting the schematic line setting to position location of 50 tablets into 50 time centers in position location of high calculations. Putting line interference into 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, the clockings are different now. Changing the clock line centers into 1 position, into 2 position, into 3 positions, and into 4 position locations. All right. So setting position line conditions, the projection line setting sets position location to the sun and locations to the moon. Okay, sun, the moon, right? So the perception line setting line interference changes to the 12 o'clock line setting, image location of 24, image locations of 48, image locations into 72 track location settings into 144, and center line connections into timeline sequence and set location of flux capacitor. New zero ground line rotation in direct line conditions. New power connector line interference, 4 over line setting, 4 over position locations. So 4 equals line position locations into 4 equals line position of 2, which is position locations of 50 timeline sequence in 1 set location. Done by equation. All right, so where we are for set lines and high calculation. See the stream removing all old programs, replacing new fresh codes. Yeah. Well, I'm just getting you code signal location of ground lines. Now, a ground line is position location in a ground setting. So it's all position at all levels. Grounds, okay, relays, atmospheres of metric set location. So grams is line conditions of level settings. It's all about recognition, time factors, time sequence times pi. So again, we go through the 4-line signal line rotation. Now we set course lines high setting position locations into this set locations. Congratulations, all timelines all at once. Multi-pass, it's all done. It's all done. So 12 line signals and set lines in communication has already changed its direct line setting. So line communication line setting opens up a high graph line stream. See? Correlation systems comes into the direct line setting to another channel position operation, changes position location of channels in set locations. So we go into 12 lines, 12 lines, 12 lines, setting direct locations, setting position location high setting in high position locations into pyramid set into location settings, setting line communications into 12 line, into 12 line, into 3 set locations, setting a correlation system of 6, 6 into 1 set location. Now the 1 sets line communications into 4, 4 equals locations into 6, line conditions high setting line position puts in 10. Line communication sets all levels of 50 correlation system in center correlation setting. Done by equation. All right. Time sequence line setting is really recognize the correlation system, how to use the numbers and patterns in position of directions. This is where it comes into Vega channels. The line connecting and position to its placebo and its cortex line setting is allocate position of 1 time frame. This sets all correlation systems. Yes, that's exactly right, Gypsy. To all line settings of start gate position. Okay, track and line communication in set lines, in set locations, indirect location setting. Setting position locations into another channel operation stream into your tracker locations high setting. Recognition line connection is all levels in 1, 2, 3, 4 set locations, right? So you got a circle line communication, circle line communication, circle line communication, circle line communication into a diamond core line setting in center correlation system, 1 in set line connections into 2 in position locations, into 3 set locations, into 3, 3, 3. Heart, mind, and soul recognition of timelines into a new flux capacitor location setting. Done by equation. All right. So how are we all doing? Trying to catch up what's going on through calculation set lines? All energy is full of multicolors, all the ways. Heart, mind, and soul checked in all position. Yeah. Yeah, you feel it more and more because your track lines are now in set location. So again, we go through this line communication, right? So the clock lines are already in 4 settings, right? So we're going to set up 4 box location of channels in set locations, right? Box in position location, high setting. Okay. Changing direct line settings into a box square line rotation interference. Setting correlation of 6 into 7 into 8 into 9 into 10 set lines and high line interference. So this is positive or negative locations into 5. Sets position location into the 50 central calculation setting at the top. Setting direct line setting line interference of 5, line position of 0 operation in its correlation system, putting everything in direct line setting to 6 of a half pipe calculation set lines into another 6 line communication into 2 graph streams and rotation surface. Done by equation. Number sequence location of pattern is recognizing time sequence line setting. The all calculation line interference all positioned to 1 box line rotation into 5 calculations into intergraph line setting rotations. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5 wave and central line calculations are set up through time sequence. So we go to line communications. So we go into 5 line setting. We go into 4 line setting. We go into 3 line setting. We go into 2 line setting, and we go into 1 line track locations. Box its position of 1 hanger set line communication setting rotation. Done by equation. So we got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Correlation system, blast off line condition, initiate, run program. Setting position of direction is really understanding the time sequence locations. You understand your clock lines in 12, 24, and 48, and 72, and 144. Each graph line connection is now in 1 line setting to 1 timeline, all at once, simultaneously. Congratulations. It's all set up. Waving central line calculation line interference, setting position location of the placebo is the cerebral cortex stream. Setting that communication system is its data port line setting into 4 line position locations by setting. So it's got 4 line setting, 5 in line rotation, 6 in position, half moon correlation line interference, 3 calculation setting, 3 sets line communications into 6 into 9. Now the 9 line comes into position location of 12. 12 central lines as communication. 12 line centers equals line condition high setting into flux capacitor, into VAS, into velocity correlation set line. Done by equation. So in setting up energy graph line rotation interference and number sequence of patterns into timeline sequence into calculations to its line setting. Putting position of track lines is all position location into energetic graph line streams. Now, energetic graph line stream is line communication setting line interference that sets its position location to 1 block setting, 1 tone setting. Line communications into 1 clock line rotation comes into this form in position of traction location of travel in set location. Setting direct location, look how powerful that is. Look how powerful that is. Setting a direct line setting is the opposite circle line rotation in a Fibonacci swirl and the opposite system line position location of track. 2 atom line rotation into the center correlation setting. Putting direct line connections to a 0 line rotation into a new dimensional shift line in position location of traction. Putting track lines and high line interference into 4 line channel and center correlation system. Travel communication of 4 line interference, 4 equals line conditions into 5. Setting line communication 9. 9 sets an energy wash rotation to a correlation system in position location of 12 line settings and graph line settings into 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 equals line position location equal line position locations into 5. 5 sets line position of positive over negative line position of 1 equals line conditions into 50 channels in calculation streamlines and set locations. Done by equation. All right. So there's a lot of things to set up locations through timelines into 1 setting. Putting everything in position locations opens all traps. Now the trap line sets line communication setting line and position locations. Traps line is a systematic line and perception line, the atmosphere line to its relay position of teleportation streamline communication system. Setting correlation line interference sets position location. Systematic line condition levels of velocity into volume, okay, in position locations into VAS. Now the VAS line setting sets correlation system to timeline sequence of 50 position locations into 1 line strip. Setting correlation center line rotation into 12 DNA line setting. 12 equals line condition of DNA line rotation and calculation streamline. It sets position locations back into 4 lines equal line conditions of 0 equal location of 9 and set location setting and spacing line and correlation of team setting and rotation system. Done by equation. So getting into position of traction is really recognizing the calculation streams. Getting into that position locations, you have to really understand how to use the waving central streams. Getting into that communications, understand how to use the holographic streams. Getting into that position location is knowing how to integrate communication to your higher self, the avatar stream. Setting direct line connection high setting. So 13 dimensional line rotation. Let's get a position location traction. All right, setting position on high settings, open all track location settings. All right, so in that position, we change this line connections, right? So we merge communications, merge lines of 13 line position location, dimensional consciousness, setting line interference, spacing line calculations, setting line interference, line calculation system, / communication line interference, and team line rotation interference, setting correlation system. So that's 12,000 line setting into 24 lines, 24 ground line rotation, up in signal location. Now, in set lines in a 13 line rotation interference, okay, 13,000 line in set locations and gravity line interference, ether communications in the 4 line waving cycle line connections, earth line rotation in set locations, earth set location settings, graph line stream sets and high location earth line rotation position, track location settings. Recognition line interference of 12 line into 24 into 48 into 72 clock locations. Send a correlation system into a pyramid line rotation into 4 tracks in position location into new flux capacitor line communication, signal line position, down by equation. All right. All right. So we sequence the pattern correlation system hieroglyphics. Hieroglyphics line communication comes into pyramid line setting, taking track lines of 3 pyramid line rotation interference, struct location settings, and high semi position location levels. So we come to 3 into 6 into 9. 9 position location, 9 here, 6 here, 7 here. 7 goes on the ground line interference line position of 0, gravity line rotation position, all position locations, box line center, triangle line position locations. Allocate 1 line, 0 line rotation and position locations, and 0, 0, 0, 0 box location high setting, 4 line connection high system, equal locations into 6 line position locations, 7, 7 position 8, 8 position of 9, 9 position of 10, 10 goes into line communication 11, 11 crosses line connection of 12, 12 line rotation system location into its divine, center correlation to the sun communication, into its moon line rotation, half height correlation system, as 6 line communication, line condition height position of all calculations stream. Down by equation. All right. So mechanism line setting is really understanding how to program location to its position. 0 gravity line position locations into crop circle location. Pyramid activation line setting high setting position location. High communication, another 0 line rotation into a power recognition of orb line rotation. Setting direct line setting to another position location into 3 valves and correlation settings. Line communicating line graphs is set lines in 0 line rotation, 0 line rotation, 0 line rotation, stepping in position locations into a walking surface and travel location of 3 sets. Setting direct line signals is setting line communication to the sun line in position location to the moon line rotation into perception into cross stream. Now that's 8 over line position of 6, another half pipe crosses stream lines, setting position location into 4 line rotation, setting line position location of 5. Now line communication line connections in position locations, it comes into negative over pi, pi over positive, pi over negative, not 9 in line rotation, in 0 line rotation, center line position of track line, putting everything in timeline sequence location into power recognition timeline in one sequence pattern in position and directions. Done by equation. Ooh-ah. It's all set up. All right. Time sequence line communication line setting. No more mirror resolution line setting location infinity cycles. No more counter cycle calculation settings. So the recognition line setting is all about understanding how to see the signal location of patterns. Now, patterns under the rotation surface is recognizing communication line setting. This opens all communication line streams to set locations into one line setting rotation. So that's one tether, one stream. Okay. Now you send in a correlation system. This is what it looks like really up close. That is this. So setting position location. So we got a 0 line rotation, 7 line position of 12, 12 line, 7 line position of 24, 24 line position of 48, 40 line position of 72, 72 and 144. And 144 line position across the stream line connection line system, position locations, comes in at 244 line rotation appearance, waiting on single locations. Travel line communication 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 line position of alpha, line communication of delta, delta communication to mega, mega communication to gamma, line communication line interference, 2 panel correlation system into high sound locations. Done by equation. All right. So number sequence location are setting up. Okay. So the wire line position location is now in deposits. Now deposit line center is the circle line rotations. 1, 2, 3, 4 set locations. Now center correlation system is in triangulation set. Direct line centers into UFO line rotation and center line correlation, scanning position location 1, 2, 3, and set location of 4. Setting direct line settings and signals in position of 1, 2, 3, 4, and set locations into circle locations to a new clocking setting into a new rotation surface in a rotation line position location at all levels of time sequence in pi position location into one timeline sequence location to a satellite position direct line setting. Done by equation. Hooah! It's all set up. Woo! So it's amazing how you set things up to location settings. All right. Getting into position of direct line setting is really putting position location at track lines. Now, when you get into that formation line setting, the recognition line interference. So we got 13 ground line settings in set locations. So that's species lines, equal line connections over pi, setting position locations. Pi recognition line connections. Now, 13 sets lines and set locations into position locations, ether line calculations in 1, 2, 3, 4 clock line setting. Recognition line connection is the Earth is below their set location. That's the Earth in set location, 13 settings. Now, position location is the Earth line rotation into the team line setting and rotation. Earth line is the imposition of 24 line settings of certain locations. Now, line communications to its box line rotation interference is surfacing in position location to its data stream of high set location, done by equation. Right, so we got 13 line setting in position and commanding line interference, set location, spacing line calculation setting, levitation line stream, levitation line communication. So in-line interference, that's 2,000 line settings and set lines in the second line interference of 60 seconds per minute per channel per operator per stream. Calculation line interference of one box channel and position of direct line setting into correlation system of your tracker locations. Now, in that line communication, all line setting and high position location, the team is no longer in position of direct locations into past line calculations. They're in timeline sequence locations into their metabolical line connections to their data line rotation interference and position of track lines and geometric operation direct locations that got particle. Line rotation interference at high set position location, high system, putting them in position location into 24 million sets in a tracker line setting, alternating line and line rotation of metric cubes and set lines and high set line positions, 27 seconds in line communication system, 2 line tracks and 7 line communication of theta line interference in high set line position location and heat signature patterns into zero gravity line rotations in a 12 signature pattern and rotation to a geometric operation signal to its correlation system to integrate locations of its higher self to its avatar locations. Congratulations. Ooh-ah. So it's all set up. All right. So we got levitation line settings. Now, this is where we come into the parallels, the paradox, the paradigm, the polar shift, polarity shift, the pulsars, the compulsory set line connections, high setting line position locations. All right. The compulsory as line communication line position of box, line position of travel lines, and 3 set line connections in position of traction. Okay. So we got 3 line setting line interference. So that's 24 line rotations in position location Earth in set locations. Team setting set line position of track lines in set locations. All right. So the Earth is line rotation into 4 line waves now. The Earth is recognizing communication clock line setting. So you're taking the 12, you're taking the position 24, 48, 72, and 144 in the center line position. Now it's set up position location to its all travel calculations of its realms and port of correlation, down by equation. That's how you set locations in a realm communication. All right. Signature patterns and set lines and calculation set lines and high interference is recognized communications. Portal intercon, portal relays, portal interline position locations, teleportation streamlines, vortex chambers, vortex correlation system, jump scares, line connections, high position locations, medium set lines and high setting, high position of track communication set locations. Recognition line setting is really understand how to set up symbols and correlation settings to your Argon locations. Websites and high setting line position of track lines is now a correlation system in the constellation path and set lines and position locations to your planetary surface in 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Setting position location high setting in all recognition of timelines and high position location high system indirect location setting locations. All right, your solar system is now set up. All right. So setting the solar system is recognizing time setting. Now, recognizing time interference, each line connection, so that's 12 line signature line interference and position location of planets. Planets equal locations over line connections into its pi system. Pi position location of its Earth line rotation, setting correlation setting into 3 waving cycles and high set locations. Earth line rotation, pi recognition line setting. So in line communications comes into 12 lines 10 or 12 equals line 24 line rotations in a portal correlation system in a travel calculations to its set line setting and rotation surface. Setting direct line setting in set locations. So you got laser direct line setting, line interference, and set location of perception, and position location 12 line setting into another 12 line setting into 2 panels rotation. Setting line and interference line position location is position of 4. So that 4 line setting is line position location of 5, sets line position locations into 9. Energy wash, the earth line rotation, sets lines and 12 line signals and rotation position, all calculated setting, done by equation. So the energy lights and the line communication system, or the earth line rotation surface, is now beneath you. You're above the system, okay, but also below the line connection. So line connecting is one line strip, set line is the high setting. So that's an A line, aerodynamics, dynamic switch, offline position, inline correlation, roving line interference, all calculation, electrical lights, electrical panels, electrical interference, wall connection panels in line and rotation into 3 position of high setting in all calculation. So you come into the aerodynamic line interference. This is aviator. Aviator line rotation and circle line rotation is dimensional in its back line center rotation position. Travel correlation system and travel line positions, all levels of portal correlation system and travel calculations. Travel calculations sets lines in all lines, center line and positions to its magnetic highway information line setting, line position location into the center correlation system, and direct location into a tripod 3-line set line connections, and position locate ground line and rotation interference, power recognition line conditions, 0 line rotation interference, 0 gravity line interference, 0 line position of high setting, 0 gravity high center locations, 5 center line rotation interference, and 0 gravity line rotations, puts everybody in 50 calculations in one-time stream and calculation setting, done by equation. All right, it's all set up. Hoo-ah. All right. Okay. Yeah, I know there's a lot going on, right? But you're feeling line connection, latent setting. You're getting hot and bothered, but you're trying to understand what's going on, right? It's going. You got to get balanced with that because you're on one timeline right now. Okay. So it's confusing, right? Your conception line settings are basically above the system. So you're above looking below at a spectrum of a cyclone. Cyclone line interference is set location into the laser direct line setting in set location setting. 13,000 feet up, 24,000 feet up. Ooh-ah. It's all set up. So levitation, line position location at 12 line setting, line position location at 12 line setting, line position location 12. Triangulation line position locations into the line connections 12, 24, 36 line setting. Then we start locations. Now, getting into parameter line interference comes into Jupiter line interference and set locations into 2 line strips and set locations. Setting correlation system, high set line connection is Pluto and set lines. Beacon lights in 3 waving cycle lines at high setting. Setting position locations into alpha line position of travels into 4 set locations, done by equation. All right, so you got perimeters and line connection lines in 13 line settings and position location at 24. Levitation streamlines and allocated line interference. You're seeing above the location line connections. Okay. Seeing above and seeing below. What you see above, you see below. The center correlation system is now set up to the center operation line setting to its clocking system in position locations. So you got 2 panels line interference into 12, 24, 48, 72, and 144 in set locations. Congratulations. So this is the time signal locations into yin and yang. The process calculations to its panels and set locations. Center correlation line interference into its Infinity 8 cycle. Setting direct location in solar panel in the line rotations. 0 gravity line rotation. And set location magnetic highway information line setting into 50 line communications into line connection high setting. Indirect location to a flux capacitor, to a travel line recognition, to a panel line position location, to scales of high center line position locations, into a roadway graph line of an AI position high center location, into 50 operation streams, and set location to 1 timeline in 1 sequence in 1 location in a 0 gravity high setting position. Done by equation. Now we're done. So if it doesn't get any more powerful than that, you know, what happens next? Well, it's all determination of how you see yourself below and above. What you see below, you see it above. Above, below. Above, below. Right? So now You are in the skyline grids now, a space. Multi-pass. Yeah. So it's all set up. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty amazing when you get into forming calculation set lines. The recognition line interference is higher soft position of track lines, but you guys are integrated to your avatar. So congratulations on that interference. But this is foundation locations. So you're now 13 set position percentage line connections of phenomena sets. The line communication spacing line and correlation line interference is 3% location phenomenon. Setting correlation line is spirit line condition to all spacing line calculation setting. Putting position of track lines into one panel of operation in position location of 12, 24, 48, 72, 144. That clocking center is now one set location. So now you got the recognized communication system of 4-line settings into 5-line setting. A correlation system, a balanced communication line setting, location of left and right position location of space, and position location of Earth. Space is the position location of direct line setting to the atmosphere location of planets. Earth is the rotation line center location, and the ground line rotation is the power. Recognition line connection is all levels of what? From below. Anything above line interference of left is above. Understand? What is below is above. Okay? That's center location line setting interference. Setting direct line signal locations. So there's a lot of communications that are coming in line setting. The recognition line connection high system is all levels of aerodynamic line string. Setting position location of arrow, setting position location of arrow. Okay? Setting position. You guys are in center line communications in position location in a travel calculation. That's where you are right now. Okay? So you're right here in set locations. This is your Earth, and this is you in center line. Setting position line direct location, your avatar is here in set location. So you're integrated to set location, your higher self setting. Okay. So you're above the Earth line. Okay. So in that line rotation interference, it changes all levels of travel calculation settings. It gets a lot more confusing because now you're levitating through floating. You're no longer flying, you're levitating. You got to get balanced with that set locations because it's a correlation system to all UFO line setting to scan line position, all level calculation done by equation. So now you know where you are, right? What you see above, you see below, right? But you have to understand what's below is above. So getting into that setting in position location size synonym, you have to understand the timeline sequence that is in direct locations of one signal of one panel operation of the unit. Recognition of line connection is all levels of your avatar. Okay, 13 setting, 24 setting. You go from 24, you go from 48 to 72 to 144, right? Which is the process line setting location to your DNA. Right? Good job. All right. Yep. Well, no. See, the thing is, this is what you're working with now in set location settings. Center operation is you. There's your Earth. Okay. So the integration line setting in high center locations is now in 12, 24, 48, 72, and position locations of 144 reaching its location setting. Right? So in triangulation to your crystal grid set lines into your avatar location. Okay? It's very complicated because your Earth is here. Okay, but now you're in 4-line wavings, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4-line track locations. So that communicates to another triangle set line, into new Merkaba, into new position location, to a tesseract communications to a tetrahedron or a octahedron location setting. Setting direct line setting is all about travel into higher position locations into your tesseract calculations of your computer operation to its set location. Done by equation. Okay. A lot of things you have to figure out how it works in opposition to track lines. The recognition communication system is all levels of observation line system. But today we're going to go through all levels of Q&A and position locations to get you guys all levels how to scan your system. Okay, so that's exactly where you guys are in calculation setting. Okay? Great job. It's all done. Close portals, high setting line interference, take them out of track and line rotation interference. Keep them in setting signals and high setting location into one timeline and one sequence, one pattern location to one setting. Done. See you on Zoom. Adios.